Well, it's late March, early April here in South Texas, which means that not only is it almost spring turkey season, but it's time for bucks to begin to drop antlers. You know, the whole antler growth cycle is really quite fascinating. For the most part, it's controlled by photoperiod, which is the duration of light in which an organism, and in this case a buck, is exposed to each day. Now obviously that changes with the seasons, and those seasonal changes in the duration of light influence the internal mechanisms within a deer's body that control antler growth. But now we need to get to the point of this video, which is how to find sheds and where to look for sheds. Now we're in South Texas, and obviously a lot of deer use feeders. And feeders are a great place, obviously, to find shed antlers because it's a congregation point. Now, just having the feeder here itself is a good key. These deer are going to congregate in here. But one thing you can do to increase your odds of sheds actually staying here is to put a rope around this feeder and work it around the legs so that as these deer feed and their head bobs up and down, this rope will actually catch on their antlers and help to pop them off and keep them right here. So really the easiest process, and this is just simple as can be, is just to try a rope here about the height at which the antler is going to be as they're feeding, and then work that rope around this feeder so that you can catch each one of the deer that come around. Now that's about right there. As they're feeding, their antler is going to tip in here. Hopefully they'll hit that and it'll just knock an antler off. I could go around a couple of times, but there's really no point on it, but it would obviously increase my odds. But at this point I can just tie this off. I'm good to go. Make sure the rope is, secure and out of the way. And this becomes one of our shed antler traps to use. Right, now a second type of shed antler trap is really quite simple. It's just a V antler trap that I make out of fencing wire. Now the wire itself is about 28 inches tall, and I'll use these steel stakes here in 3 different positions, here, here, and here, to hold this together. I like to open this up till it's about 23 inches wide, and then once I'm finished, I'll come back and put corn in this area here. So as the deer comes in to feed, his antlers rake and catch on the fence itself, and that really helps to pop them off. Now if you do a bunch of these throughout your property, it really increases your odds of finding sheds and really makes it easier to find sheds. So now I just need to get this one in the ground. Now I just need to finish putting this last stake in the ground. Get it good and secure, because obviously you want your deer rubbing on it. You don't want it to go anywhere. Now I just need to wire it off, tie these off. Get them wired in here really strong. I get them bent around with my hands first, and then come back with the pliers and get them really good and tied in there. Well, that does it for this trap. Now all I need to do is put some corn in the middle. Those deer will come in, scrape their antlers on the side, they'll pop right off. Now I'm going to show you a couple more traps. Now another type of easy trap, which I call the M trap or the W trap, just depends on how you look at it, kind of modifies that V-shaped trap and just takes it to a little bit of a different level. As you can tell, I went ahead and wired these in, but it's going to set up the same way. I'll stake in my poles in each corner, and once again I'm going for about 23 inches in width where these are spread apart. That's about right there. Get these poles up, we'll be in good shape. Then the last one goes up. Spread it out a little bit, stake it in. It's really not a hard trap to put together. Really not a hard trap to put together. Just initially need to get it up. Once again, get it staked into the ground really well. Now it's up off the ground. Last 2 stakes go in the middle just to hold it there. Make sure nothing runs off with your wire. All right, that about does it for this trap. Once again, it's really just a modified V. But now I've kind of increased my opportunity for the number of bucks and the number of shed antlers to drop. I'll put corn in here, put corn in here, put corn on this outside. Now I've really got 3 spots at which, a bachelor group of bucks could come in if they're all feeding. Creates a good opportunity for them to drop antlers, makes it easier for me to find sheds. Now when it comes to shed antler hunting, I'm of the opinion to work smarter, not harder, and I showed you a couple of ways to create traps to increase your odds of finding shed antlers. But definitely use what's already in the field, and in this case a fence. When these bucks start to cross from pasture to pasture, the jarring action of hitting the other side of the ground is going to pop those antlers off. As well, when they go under the fence, their tines and their antlers hitting the bottom of the fence is actually going to pop those antlers off as well. So remember, shed hunting is a great, valuable tool to have, and it's definitely fun to be in the field. Remember to check your local game regulations regarding anything that has to do with shed hunting so that you stay within those laws. So have fun and get out in the field.
Go to Cabela's.com/WLM for more info about wildlife and land management, and go more in depth with all the tractors, implements, and products that Cabela's has to offer.